Hi, I'm Angie.
I'm Eric Usick.
I'm Rupa.
My name is Maddie Kilburn. I'm 20 years old.
Yeah, my name is Sid. I'm an advertising major. I'm from Houston, Texas, but I've traveled a lot.
I've sort of grown up on both the border of Texas and Mexico in this city called Laredo. But I also grew up in this small college town in Connecticut.
I'm an only child. My parents are divorced, so my mom is on contract in Alaska, and my dad is in Cleveland forever because he has a diner, so.
I have a pretty, regular sized family. I've got mom, dad, older brother who's older by like 9 years, and me, and a dog.
So it was definitely like a duality for me. At home, I was raised very strictly, traditionally, like an Indian culture. It was very American at school because there was no opportunity to be able to embrace my culture. There was no group identity with anyone in school. The people I hung out with were, I guess, of all like generally Asian descent, but even then, that's not like a culture.
I grew up in a very homogenous community. You just didn't see a lot of people that were different. There wasn't a lot of people of color. There wasn't a lot of, same-sex couples. Ashkenazic Jew, I say it a lot. I realize I didn't realize how much I say it. I mean, we're a minority. We're a minority group in the United States and in the world. We make up 0.02% of the global population. But at the same time, we're white, usually European descent, and so it's easy for us to blend in. It's interesting to be a minority group, but to really not be marginalized in any way whatsoever. In fact, being that we make up such a small portion of the population, it's kind of crazy that there's so much influence, I guess, in terms of like media, and there's so many like Jewish references and Yiddish that's thrown around on TV that you think based on statistics shouldn't be there, just because we're so statistically small. It's a weird place to be in where you're a minority but not marginalized or feel like you're on the fringes of your society.
My dad actually was raised in Houston, born and raised, so that makes me a second generation Indian American, which is something of a rarity. You find a lot of people whose parents moved here when they got the job sort of, but no, my dad's pretty much from here. My mom, on the other hand, grew up in India, actually in Mumbai. That offered her a very, more city type environment that fostered more liberal attitude toward things. The culture that my mom still adopts, and I've gleaned a few things from there, it's very family centric, right? It's very old world, really. The fact that you have certain duties and responsibilities when it comes to even your parents as they get old, you have to take care of them. Whereas I feel like the more modern, and I wouldn't even say American, but just the more modern culture overall, because it's changing internationally, is based on independence, right? Do what you want to do, go out there, get it,
I feel like the most accurate description of what my ethnic group is swamp people. We all just sort of emerged from the swamps one day, and now I'm here. I moved to Connecticut when I was still in infancy, so that was pretty much my whole childhood up until I was 8 years old. Laredo is 95% Hispanic, so it was probably one of the first times I had ever been the only white person in the room. And it's an interesting experience, kind of representing your race, I guess, or representing your ethnicity. People would consult me for white people things. I got called Taylor Swift a lot, but I took that as a compliment, I guess. I guess it just really teaches you what it's like to not fit in at all, because you sort of grow up and just even the tiny things, not understanding, the candy that all the other kids like, and you know, not being able to relate to the TV shows that other kids watch or their memories of growing up with their grandparents. So I feel like you really get to understand like the struggles that people have as like immigrants coming into the country. But then it is also just sort of all the tiny things of like never truly being able to feel like you fit in.
I didn't realize like how much my Lebanese heritage like influenced my upbringing in the sense that like there are certain things that my dad says and like believes that like really shaped. I don't like, I can't put my finger on it, but definitely. One thing growing up in a Lebanese family is like you're never done eating, but then like you're not supposed to eat. Like it's weird like culturally. That's what I'm saying. Like before I came to UT, I was like, that's just how everyone is, right? But then it's like, no, like that's your culture. Like my dad immigrated here, so I think that's sort of like an added pressure of like he came here for a better life, so like succeed at it. Which like he's never said that, and like he would never say that, but that's kind of like something that you just take on and you're like, oh my God, like I have to do right, and like I'm an only child, like it's on me, I gotta do it.
I was bullied pretty much through elementary school, not only for being Indian, but being younger, being like brown. It was my hair, it was my religion, it was basically everything you could think of that a young kid actually identifies as. You know, like at that point I didn't realize that I didn't have a name for discrimination at that point. I feel a kind of closeness or some sort of like connection to other minorities. I can kind of count on, I guess, people of color, for example, to not be racist and to be more open to understanding my culture and how much it means to me.
It's hard to be genuinely interested in everything, right? But at the same time, you have to take a little more energy and effort in order to listen, to understand, and to enjoy a person's company, I feel.
I'm a woman. I'm a person of color, but Indian American, so I count myself in the model minority group. Count myself amongst those people who think the model minority myth is stupid, because it is, and it's a generalization.
The term millennial has become so derogatory because of the political climate, but you know, the fact that I am, like, that word just really encompasses who I am, I feel sometimes, because I'm an Indian American going toward a career that's not really traditional. Hair larger than my physical head. I think that's pretty apparent by my actual presentation right now.
The only colors I used here were for hair. Don't really know what influenced that.
My mom has this saying, like, perfect like my nose, which is weird, because like big noses are not normally like seen as like super cute.
Obviously, the very Eastern European eyebrows.
I chose this color because I really like this color.
It's like the button nose that's like in style, but like my mom, like through my childhood, was always like perfect like my nose is perfect.
Always wearing an Oxford button-down type shirt with pocket and something in that pocket.
I didn't go a full unibrow because I figured that would be, you know, too much.
And it has curly hair, which is definitely me.
I'm happy. I'm pretty happy in general.
And then at the end, I put a little bindi on there because I'm Indian. I'm very proud of it, and I think it represents a big part of who I am.
I drew myself with a little pen just because I am constantly writing. It's usually on my phone or my computer nowadays because I'm a dirty millennial.
I think it's a good portrait of myself. I put a poop emoji on an iPhone because I use it probably every day.
So if I had to give you advice, picture me, it would be to comb your hair. No, I'm just kidding.
Just keep your chin up in hard times and always stand your ground.
You need to get off the social media, dude. It's a lot.
You're doing good. Pace yourself. It'll be okay.
Not that you're doing anything crazy on it, but like other people are, and I know it like bothers you a lot.
Oh, you're updating your LinkedIn again. Yeah, stop that. Nobody cares about it really. Like, you should relax a little bit.
You got it here, and you're gonna make the world a better place.
I think it's misunderstood as meaning like smart, but it doesn't have to mean that.
I feel like the world is always trying to tell us that we have so many flaws.
It means that even though the political climate's scary, people are protesting in the streets, the fact that we have a lot of discontent.
Finding pleasure in the small things.
Because I feel like wit is making connections between things, and also I think this is the definition of creativity as well, of making connections of things that you wouldn't otherwise think would be connected.
It's also just something that I tell myself a lot when I feel like things really aren't okay. But I just keep on telling myself it's gonna be okay and everything's okay.
Just keep trying to do something better.
Just remembering that you're flawless is really nice, and knowing that like you can't mess up because there's like no distinct plan.
Try to look for that happiness in whatever you're doing for that matter.